Hey everyone, and welcome back to In Focus with Ken Clough Photography, and welcome to Season 2. I'm Ken Clough, and whether you're here because you're a photographer yourself, a creative soul who loves exploring the world through art, or someone who enjoys simply looking at life through a slightly different lens, pun totally intended, I'm so glad you're tuning in today. Starting a new season is always exciting. It feels like the beginning of a fresh photo shoot. You have packed your gear, you're stepping into new light, and you are curious about what you're going to capture. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in today's episode. Finding inspiration, developing a unique aesthetic, and embracing the idea that photography is not just about clicking the shutter. It's about an evolving artistic journey. We're going to dig into what inspiration really means for photographers, how you can develop your own shooting style, some of the major styles of photography and what they embody, why your style is not fixed, it's going to grow with you, and how clients can connect with a photographer who sees the world in a way that matches their vision. Think of this as our creative season opener. By the end of the episode, my hope is that you'll feel inspired to explore, whether you're holding the camera or standing in front of it. Photography as an artistic experience. Let's start with something that's easy to forget in our world of Instagram filters, TikTok trends, and endless content strolling. Photography is at its heart an artistic experience. It's not just a tool for documenting reality. Yes, photography captures what is in front of us, the people, the places, the moments. But an image is never purely literal. Every photograph is shaped by the person behind the lens, their choices of composition, their use of light, the mood they want to create, the feeling they want you to walk away with. That's the beauty of this art form. 10 photographers can walk into the same room with the same subject and walk out with 10 completely different images. Why? Because they all bring their own interpretation to the scene. When I first picked up a camera, way back before I ever thought I'd be doing this professionally, I didn't realize that I was already shaping my own perspective. I just knew I liked certain angles and certain moments. Over time, I realized that I wasn't just recording reality. I was telling a story. That's the moment I understood photography is an act of artistic authorship. Finding inspiration. Let's talk about inspiration. Where does it come from? For me, inspiration is a combination of two things: what you notice and what you care about. Some photographers are inspired by people, expressions, gestures, or connections. Others are inspired by places, landscapes, architecture, or textures. And some are drawn to patterns, shapes, and light in a way that seems abstract to everyone else, but to them, it's magic. I found inspiration in the most unexpected places. The way morning light hits the side of a brick building downtown, or the laughter of a couple sharing an inside joke during an engagement session. I've even been inspired by mistakes, like when I accidentally caught motion blur or a flare that completely changed the mood of a photo in a good way. The truth is, inspiration isn't always lightning in a bottle. It's often a slow burn. It's the accumulation of visual ideas that you have absorbed over time through movies, art, nature, music, and yes, even other photographers. A big turning point in my own journey was realizing I didn't have to wait for inspiration to strike. I could seek it out by experimenting, trying new settings, visiting new places, or working with subjects I've never photographed before. The act of shooting itself often creates inspiration. Developing a unique aesthetic. Now let's talk about something that every photographer wrestles with at some point: developing your own style. We throw around the word aesthetic a lot in the creative world, but what does it really mean? Your aesthetic is the visual personality of your work. It's a combination of colors, tones, compositions, and moods that make people look at a photo and say, "Oh, I know who took that." Some photographers have a clean, bright style, crisp whites, airy backgrounds, and a light, happy mood. Others prefer deep, moody tones, dramatic shadows, and rich colors. Some embrace bold, vibrant saturation, while others lean into soft pastels or timeless black and white. Developing a unique aesthetic doesn't happen overnight. At first, you're probably going to mimic styles you admire, and that's okay. It's part of the learning. But as you shoot more, you'll start to notice patterns in what you're drawn to. Maybe you gravitate towards shooting in natural light rather than flash. Maybe you like tight, intimate portraits over wide, environmental shots. Or maybe you're obsessed with candid moments instead of posed ones. My own aesthetic has shifted over the years. When I started, I leaned heavily into natural light and warm tones. Now I still love that warmth, but I'm more open to experimenting with contrast and color grading that fits the story of the shot. It's like handwriting. Your style is uniquely yours, but can evolve and mature over time. Learning from influences without losing yourself. Here's something that trips up a lot of photographers, especially when they're still trying to figure out their style. Balancing the influence of others with your own creative voice. We all start by looking at other people's work. I know I did. I'd scroll through photography blogs, Instagram feeds, and galleries, thinking, wow, I wish I could take pictures like that. And for a while, I tried to. I mimicked color palettes, poses, and even editing styles I admired. There's nothing wrong with that in the beginning. It's how we learn. Painters study the masters. Musicians cover songs they love. Photographers can do the same. But the danger comes when you get stuck there, chasing someone else's vision instead of creating your own. One of the most valuable lessons I learned early on was this. It's okay to borrow techniques, but the emotion and perspective need to be yours. Influences are like ingredients. They can flavor your work, but they shouldn't overpower it. The real magic happens when you stop asking, how can I make my work look like theirs? And start asking, how can I make my work feel like mine? Common styles of photography and what they embody. Let's take a little tour of some common photography styles, because understanding them can help you find your own lane. Photojournalistic and documentary. This style is all about capturing moments as they happen, with little to no posing. It tells a story, and it's raw and real. Think wedding photojournalism or street photography. Fine art. Here, photography is approached like a painting or sculpture, with careful composition, lighting, and often conceptual storytelling. The result is something that could hang in a gallery. Lifestyle. This blends candid and posed elements to capture people and real-life situations, but in a polished, aesthetically pleasing way. It's warm, relatable, and emotional. Portraiture. Focused on the person, this style can be traditional, modern, or experimental, but it's always about connection and personality. Editorial and fashion. This is high-concept photography, often stylized and aimed at creating an impactful visual narrative, the kind you see in magazines. Minimalist. Stripped down imagery that focuses on clean lines, empty space, and simplicity. Abstract. Shapes, colors, patterns, and textures that take center stage over literal objects. The reason I'm listing these isn't so that you can pick one and never look back. It's so you can explore them, experiment, and figure out which elements feel most you. Style as a personal journey. Here's something I want every photographer, beginner or pro, to remember. Your style is not a fixed destination. When you first start, you might think, I need to figure out my style so I can stick to it. But the truth is, your style will grow with you. I've seen my own work go through different seasons. Early on, I loved bright, saturated colors. Then I had a period where I wanted everything to feel cinematic with deep shadows and muted tones. Now I'm comfortable mixing both, depending on the story I'm telling. It's a lot like life. Our tastes, our perspectives, and even our personalities evolve. And that's a good thing. Sticking rigidly to one style for your whole career can box you in creatively. So if you're listening to this, and you're in that messy middle where your style feels inconsistent, congratulations, you're growing. Keep shooting, keep experimenting. Your voice will get clearer. Connecting with a photographer who shares your vision. Now let's flip to the other side of the lens for the clients out there. If you're hiring a photographer, finding someone whose artistic vision aligns with yours is everything. You're just not booking someone to take pictures. You're asking them to interpret your story in their own visual language. That's why it's important to look beyond price lists and packages. Look at their portfolio. Pay attention to the mood, the light, and the way they frame moments. If their work makes you feel something, joy, nostalgia, excitement, that's a good sign they might be the right fit. I always encourage my clients to have a conversation before booking. Ask me about my process. Tell me about your vision. Let's figure out how to make it happen. That connection and trust are what make the photos feel authentic. So here's my challenge for you. Whether you're behind the camera or in front of it, if you're a photographer, push yourself to try something new this week. Change your lighting. Shoot a subject you've never shot before. Play with post-processing in a way that feels out of your comfort zone. If you're a client, take the time to explore a photographer's work. Look for the one whose style makes you stop scrolling and just look. Photography is a deeply personal art form, and no two visions are alike. That's what makes it exciting. That's what keeps us growing. Thanks for joining me for the first episode of Season 2. We've got some amazing conversations, tips, and behind-the-scenes stories coming up this season, so stick around. And as always, if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it, leave a review, and connect with me over at kencloughphotography.com or on Instagram at Ken Clough Photography. Until next time, keep your focus sharp, your mind open, and your heart in every shot.